So in this video we're going to factor a trinomial like this one, ax squared plus bx plus c. And these are a little harder. They're the ones that have a not equal to 1, so some other number. And the one we're going to factor is 6x squared plus 7x minus 10 as our example. Okay, so let me go over the procedure first with you to make sure you understand what the book says about this. First step is to multiply the values of a and c in the form here, and then start listing the factors of the product AC. As you list them, find two factors that add or subtract to the value b. Step 3 would be rewrite the middle term bx as two terms using those factors that you worked out in the last step. And then step 4 is to factor by grouping. So we're going to follow those steps. First step was take a and c, in this case 6 and negative 10, multiply them together. And we get negative 60. Okay, we're going to pay attention to this sign because then we can just add those factors, whatever they are, to get 7. So one's positive, one's negative. And you can do this systematically or hunt for them, whichever you like. I'm going to do it systematically. We'll start with 1. Negative 1 times 60, or two factors that multiply to get negative 60. And then we'll pick all the numbers that divide into 60 as we go along, the whole list of integers. So the next one would be negative 2 and 30. We could put the negative sign on the other number, but since this is a positive number, the larger number has to be positive, so we'll leave it like this. Negative 3 times 20, negative 4 times 15, negative 5 times 12. And as you're writing the list, you're thinking, do these subtract or add together as integers to get 7? We find that this one does. We could go farther, 6 and 10, and there might be another couple of them, but we don't have to write the whole list. We've found the pair. 12 plus negative 5 will make 7. So that's step 1. Step 2, well, that was step 2. Step 1 was to write this product, and step 2 is to get this pair. Step 3 is to rewrite 7x using these two numbers and rewrite it as two terms. So that's going to be 6x squared plus, and I can write either one first. I could write plus 12x minus 5x or minus 5x plus 12x. You can try that on your own to make sure that it works out to be the same. So now we've rewritten that. And what's happening here really is, remember when we FOIL two binomials together, the factors we're going to get at the end are going to be binomials. One of the last steps of FOILing is to add the like terms that are in the middle. Okay? We're unfoiling this. We're separating that into two factors, two terms that would add up to 7x. Okay, the last step said, in the screen that you saw, said we're going to factor by grouping. That's a technique you've learned previously. And here's the first group. 6x squared and 12x. And here's the second group. Negative 5x minus 10. We're going to factor a common factor from both of those. What's the common factor of 6x squared and 12x? Well, they both are divisible by 6. And there's an x in both of them too. So we can divide x into both of those. So the common factor is 6x. If we divide by 6x, factor that out in other words, what are we left with? x here. 6x squared divided by 6x is x. Plus 12x divided by 6x would give us 2. Okay? Then we look at this and say, what is the common factor of negative 5x and negative 10? What divides into both of those? If there's a negative sign here, we're going to want to include that in the common factor because we want to get this x plus 2 again. It doesn't have any negative signs in it. So we're going to factor out a negative 5. That divides into both of those terms. Negative 5 goes into negative 5x. Negative 5 goes into negative 10. And we're going to be left with x here. Divide by negative 5, we get x. Divide that by negative 5, we get plus 2. And you can see that we have the same factor here and here now. That's how factoring by grouping works, if you recall. So now we're going to take that common factor of these two, what could be considered terms, because they're predominantly multiplications, and factor that to the front, x plus 2. And what's left? If we've taken out the x plus 2 here and the x plus 2 here, we have 6x minus 5 left. And this gives us a procedure rather than method 1 that gave us a way to just kind of hunt for it. And that works for smaller numbers. But when the numbers get larger like this, it's easier to have this step-by-step procedure. And your final answer is there. We'll circle it.